The town hall is for the president to speak to the voters of New Hampshire, not for this back and forth with media. That's number one. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster.
Now, I just now checked out a video from Officer Tatum. He was able to get a whole bunch of videos from Trump talking to CNN. You know, they're trying to hit him with the gotcha questions. And he ended up, excuse my French, whooping their ass. And that was on Officer Tatum's show. Now, Black Conservative Perspective, he has a video of Byron Donalds and a few Republican voters who are discussing this whole CNN thing. And it's an actual CNN panel. And watch what happens, man. Watch what happens. See, this is what CNN, be careful what you do. Matter of fact, be careful what you ask for. You the one set this whole thing up. Now you're about to get your ass handed to you. That's why trying to bury Trump in lawsuits is the only thing y'all can do not to win. And that's sad. It's sad, bro.
Take a look.
To vote, but that's what they have in common, that most of them are Trump supporters. What I want to ask you first of all is, do you think, show of hands, anybody think Donald Trump looks better after this town hall? Any of you think he looks worse? Any of you think the same thing about him as you did when you walked in? So all of you feel that way. First thing I want to ask you about, Donald Trump, does it bother you that he keeps talking about 2020 and not 2024? I'll ask you first. This is Jonathan Leslie. He's 40, Republican, voted for Trump twice. How do you feel about those lies?
So I feel like part of it's also the media narrative, as you guys asked him the first question at the town hall about the 2020 election, rather than current stuff.
So don't you think he could say it's time for me to start talking about 2024 and not lies that aren't true?
Okay, what? Wait a minute. Okay, I asked you, do any of you think these are leading questions. He's trying to lead them into saying something that they're not saying. Are y'all getting tired of him talking about 2020 when he should be talking about 2024? And then the guy answers and say, well, he wouldn't have been talking about 2020 if the questions wasn't about 2020. And then the guy that's asking the questions like, well, don't you think that he should have been like, well, I don't want to talk about, he should have denied the question and then went to 2024. And you all would have said, look at him, he's not answering the questions. He only want to talk about what he wants to do for the country. He don't want to talk about the past. Don't ask him about the damn past if you don't want him to talk about the past, and then demean him for talking about it, for answering the questions. He was answering the questions. That's what he was doing.
Couldn't the media ask him a question about 2024?
Well, there were questions, but you're right. That was the first thing, but that's something that was on our mind, and that's why I was asked first. Mike McGloin.
Yeah, so these voters had the exact same observation that I had, that I talked about during the live stream, which is that CNN, they want to get mad at Trump for focusing on 2020, but they literally opened up the town hall with Caitlin Collins, not the audience, Caitlin Collins asking Trump about the 2020 election and if Trump's going to accept the result.
Bruh, what type of bizarre world are we living in, man? Well, I mean, yeah, we did ask him, but he should have still wanted to talk about 2024. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Dumbass, you shouldn't have asked the question to these people. Stupid, man. The young lady that was on stage talking to him, asking him questions was dumb. And this dude right here is just ridiculous as hell too.
Right? Now, again, this is not what voters really care about, okay? Voters don't care about 2020 anymore, okay? Voters don't care about Trump's personal life. They don't care about January 6th, but CNN,
they don't care about taking fouls home. What about all the fouls in Mar-a-Lago? Because I did some research about fouls, and you're not supposed to take no fouls home. That's what we want to talk to you. We want to talk about fouls, and we want to talk to you about Jan 6, and we want to talk to you about 2020 elections. Are you going to accept the elections like you didn't accept them in 2020? Like, come on, bro. And then ask the people on the sidelines, weren't y'all tired of him talking about 2020? I mean, that's all he talked about. Bro, like, that's all y'all asked him about.
They were obsessed with it to the point where they didn't ask any questions about crime. They didn't talk about the border enough. They didn't talk about foreign policy enough. They didn't talk about education enough. These were core issues that CNN just decided not to focus on, not to ask the Republican presidential candidate, okay, who's, again, probably going to win the primary. If the primary is held today, he's going to win, okay? They decided to focus on their grievances with Trump that don't matter to the American people rather than the actual issues. And I want to show you guys this exchange.
I'm sure they got on the phone with their lawyers quick. Like, come on, bro. Donald Trump answered these questions way too well. And it looked like the audience loved it. And our panel, they also agree with him. When are these lawyers going to handle their business? When are y'all going to get him locked up? He cannot run in 2024. We're running out of time. Clearly, he's better than us. Hurry up and do your job. Find something on him. Go out there and find another woman that will accept payment to say that he did something to her. Trash, man. They are trash. And the people that are just loving it and eating it up, all of this daggone soap opera bull sugar honey iced tea that we're watching that has to do with Trump and his, I guess, alleged lovers. Come on, bruh. Get over it. We have a country to run. We literally have big business that we need to handle. Our money looking funny. We got way too much crime going on, man. We fighting for another country that don't give a damn about us. Like, and while we're fighting these other countries, you got countries that are joining together right now, creating forces that we might not be able to contend against if we continue with the bullshit. Come on, man. We're focusing on the dumb stuff.
Between Byron Donalds and the rest of the CNN panel after the debate, because, of course, you had people on the panel like, Van Jones, boohoo whining and crying because, again, Trump is being Trump, okay? And Byron Donalds just proceeds to destroy each and every last one of them on the fact that CNN and how they conducted this town hall is the reason why we could not talk about any core issues, is because they wanted to focus on a bunch of things that do not matter to voters. And this is probably one of the most glorious takedowns of CNN that I've seen in a long, long, long time. Take a look.
First of all, town halls are for the voters, not for the press, not for the person who's the moderator. Caitlin spent more time interjecting her own viewpoints or her own views on the situation.
Excuse me, those are actually facts.
Now, are you guys not going to interject your views on here?
Yes, they are. Yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to interject their views on, because they like, no, we got to take up for our coworker. You're not going to speak ill about our coworker. Now, I know you're saying it, but what he's saying is true.
Do I get a chance to speak now?
If you're speaking falsely, those were facts.
He's not speaking falsely. White hair man, relax.
The town hall is for the president to speak to the voters of New Hampshire, not for this back and forth with media. That's number one. Hold on. That's number one. Number two, with respect to Ukraine, I totally disagree. He did not say he was just going to give over Ukraine the way you intimate, Van. He did not say that.
He didn't say what he said
is that he would actually look for a solution to end it quickly. He put 24 hours on it, but let's be very clear. What Joe Biden has done has been a disaster, because initially with Ukraine, Joe Biden wanted to give Vladimir Zelensky a ride out of Dodge. He wanted to give him a plane ride. And it wasn't until people in Moscow, in Ukraine, here in the United States said this invasion is wrong that Joe Biden reversed course.
Do you want a victory in Ukraine? Do you want a victory in Ukraine?
I'm just trying to respond to everything that's been coming up on the table. Last thing, let me say this. We spent 22.
I don't think anybody sitting up there right now is as sharp as this young brother. I don't think so, man. And honestly, I'm glad he's speaking up. And he's speaking up because he wants things to be to move in the right direction that's going to positively affect us all. And that's obviously not happening, man. It's not happening. It's crazy.
Response to everything that's been coming up on the table. Last thing, let me say this. We spent 23 minutes talking about January 6th. We could have been talking about a whole lot of other issues instead of doing that for the first half hour or so. But let me be very clear. What was said in this town hall about National Guard troops that were authorized by Caitlin was wrong. I'm on the Oversight Committee. I was in 2 hearings on January 6th. It was testified in oversight that Donald Trump authorized National Guard troops on January 4. He followed up in a call with then acting Secretary of Defense on January 5, trying to see where the deployment was on those troops. That is testimony in the Oversight Committee. Everybody testified in Oversight Committee when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, except one organization, and that was the Capitol Police.
Did you read the
Because Nancy Pelosi would not allow that. I'm telling you what was testified to in the Oversight Committee under oath.
Well, let me just correct you, because what Caitlin was saying was what the former Secretary of Defense wrote in his book. He said the president did not.
I am telling you what he testified.
He's telling you exactly what it was, bruh. Acknowledge that. Accept that. He's on the committee. He sees it himself. He sees it himself, and you talking about, well, what that lady was, what Caitlyn was talking about was what someone wrote in their book saying, bruh, I was there. I'm telling you exactly what's on it. But you want to take up for, old goofy face, because y'all can't do it either. Y'all just want to run your damn mouth and not listen. Y'all not listening to understand or learn a damn thing right now. You're listening for points to interject, because when he was talking for a great majority of just now, you can hear a damn pin drop. Why? Because they could not interject with any facts that would combat anything he's saying. Anything.
Testified to under oath.
In
the oversight committee.
Congressman, can I just ask?
Are the facts? Go ahead.
You do acknowledge Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, correct?
Again, we're going to continue to talk about 2020.
No, I mean, it's a direct.
Right now, hold on. Let me tell you why most voters are frankly kind of tired of y'all bringing this up. Inflation, border.
You don't have the courage to express.
No, it ain't about the courage. Y'all ain't got the courage to talk about what's happening today, because you know that if we talk about what's happening today, y'all won't even be able to win the office again in 2024. So we got to continue to talk about this. We got to continue to talk about that. We don't want to talk about what's going on today. No, leave that alone. Security, somebody come get this dude up off our stage. Somebody come get him.
I'm a Republican voter. I'm a Republican voter.
Voters want to talk about inflation, the border, fentanyl, the debt ceiling, foreign policy. If you want to talk about the 2020 election, let's talk about this. We do know that Mark Elias was in many jurisdictions suing to actually change election procedures, which, by the way, is at the hands of the state legislature in every state, according to the Constitution. Not in the hands of courts, not in the hands of the Supreme Court, the state legislature. We do know that to be a fact. We do know that truly.
You won't state your opinion about factually what happened in the 2020
election. You guys
election?
want me to make a statement. This is, Frank, let me tell you right now. This is what's frustrating. This is what's frustrating to a lot.
Because that's what they do, man. We're CNN, bro. We need for you to answer the questions that we have on the books about 2020. We had questions that we wanted to ask Trump. We want to ask you those same questions, because what you're trying to act like is those questions are not important. And to us, they're really important. We go to sleep at night thinking about the 2020 elections. We go to sleep at night thinking about Jan 6. We go to sleep at night thinking about Mar-a-Lago documents. We go to sleep at night thinking about grab him by the vagina. Whatever it is that can bury Trump, that's what we want to talk about. So could you please talk about what we want to talk about before I jump up and have a temper tantrum?
A lot of people. You want me to state it the way you want me to state it.
No, I don't.
I am telling you.
I want you to just answer the question.
And the reasons behind why certain people look at the 2020 election the way that they do.
I understand why some people believe it.
Moving forward into 2024,
you did not allow people to be able to make up their minds and make up their own decisions without hiding information, without getting people up off of platforms, without when they speak on certain things. There was videos and documents out on a certain person, allegedly, that would not have gotten Joe Biden in office. And you know it, but if you just want them to bring it up, that's why y'all invite the wrong people. Invite me on a daggone show and ask me the question. I'll answer it. Come on, man. We already know how much public opinion means in this country where people do not think for themselves. So let's put all the facts on the table.
a couple of things are very, very clear. The nation is a mess. Our border is overrun. Inflation is crippling every family, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Those are the facts of the matter in 2024, not 2020.
Can I just ask you a question?
Not 2020.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Byron Donalds single-handedly dismantled that whole panel, okay? And I absolutely love
okay. Hey, he single-handedly dismantled that whole panel, okay? Hey, I'm gonna rewind it just to hear that part right there.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Byron Donalds single-handedly dismantled that whole panel, okay?
Black conservative perspective, man. You're hilarious, bro. Smart dude.
And I absolutely loved it because this is exactly why they don't allow Trump Republicans on CNN. What you just saw there, that masterclass of Byron Donalds point by point destroying that whole panel is exactly why they don't allow Trump Republicans on the network, because that's going to happen every single time. Okay? Because
Okay. Bruh. Every time I hear that, I'm a laugh now. I'm ridiculous.
they spent at least half of the town hall talking about stuff that people don't care about. This is why you have these polls where you have Trump crushing Biden. Okay, the polls in aggregate basically show 2024 being a tie. When historically speaking, Trump should be down, right? Trump should be down versus Biden, but he's not. He's virtually tied with Biden. He's trending up. Why is that? It's because people know that Trump was better on the core issues than Biden is, right? Everybody knows that. But instead of talking about those core issues, they wanted to focus the whole town hall on bullshit.
Thank you, bruh. Say it for the people in the back. They need to hear it too. That's all you want to focus on is BS. That's why every time you ask people, why did you vote for Biden? Biden. Do you like Biden? Well, most people think it's a bad thing. Well, they now know it's a bad thing to say, yo, I do like Biden and he's a good, strong president, because they know it's not true. So what they will say is, I voted for the lesser of two evils. And plus, Trump's a racist. But then when you ask them questions, follow-up questions, okay, how is he racist? What has he done that was racist? What has he said that was racist? Nobody can back it up. I only want to talk about it. It's because they've been taught to only hear one side of the story and not even listen to the other side. The other side do not want to discuss issues. They don't. It's the dumbest things in the world, man. We are on the brink of World War III if we continue to mismanage this country. And people want to talk about some real stuff, man. But some people know that if we talk about real stuff, we will lose it all. So we can't talk about real stuff. They be like, I knew it. See, he won't talk about it. We got him. Don't vote for him. He's hiding something. Come on, man. They dumb as hell, bro. They dumb as hell. I'm going to have the link below for this video right here. Please go check it out.